Hello humans, welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Yelly or Yellbell Beauty here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Today we are going to be doing a makeup I have been neglecting / shop my stash-y type video. I'm definitely interested in hearing what you all think about this setup because this way I figured I could reach for my vanity and not have to completely turn around, and then this way you still kind of get like the beauty-esque space on top of it. I adjusted the camera speed for the lights. Those of you that watched my last video, Beauty Creator Friends Pick My Makeup, there was some issues with my camera shutter speed and the lights, and I tested out a few things, and this is the best that I can get them. I'm not quite sure. I'm looking in the viewfinder and I don't see them flickering, and I did a few different tests, so I think I got it. There was like one or two bulbs where I was like, maybe they are, but I'm hoping that it's just gonna focus on me and not on them, and we'll see how it goes, because I don't want to be posing a health risk to any of you that have an issue with flashing lights or shutters. And if push comes to shove, I'll take the lights out. To start off, those of you who have been here a while know that I always start with eyes. Two palettes in particular came to mind when I was thinking of palettes that I neglect. The first is the Game Beauty Victory palette. This is one of, I guess I would say, two palettes I have from Game Beauty. I have this and one quad from the Attack on Titan collab. This is one of their very early palettes. It is just like a neutral color story with a pop of blue or more like a teal. This reminds me a lot, like this side is pretty much like a mini Natasha Denona Gold palette. And then this side is like a mini Natasha Denona Bronze palette. So that's what I think of when I look at this. I really do like this palette. I think that the thing that kind of stops me from reaching for it is I am generally not drawn to using this teal because there's nothing to like deepen the teal up, so that just kind of like shoots it out for me. And then the golds and the bronzes, I have many other palettes where I might gravitate towards those, so this is just not in the forefront of my mind. So I would like to get some use out of this. The other is the Melt Muerte palette. I really love this palette, but I feel that I don't use it as often, mostly because of the shimmers. There are 3 shimmers in here, and I'm gonna be honest, they're not what I want. Melt shimmers, I'm not a fan of. I have 3 melt palettes. I don't like the shimmers in any of them. I really like their mattes. I really love their color stories, but it's just difficult for me to say to myself, oh yeah, I'm, gonna do my makeup. I have a time frame. I'm going out. I want to get it done, and then reach for something that's not necessarily a cohesive palette for me because it is missing those shimmers for me, even though it has shimmers. Generally, I only pull this out when I'm utilizing it in conjunction with a single or in conjunction with another palette. So I figured today this could be good to utilize with the Game Beauty palette because it has some of those teals. So then that way I could use the shimmers from the Game Beauty palette and then some mattes from each to create a look. To start out, I'm going to use this JH35 and I'm going to go into Lagrimas. I go to Greece in 2 weeks. I know, I feel like I've been talking about this forever. But I am very, very excited to go to Greece. We are flying into Athens, then going straight to Paros, then Mykonos, then Naxos, and then back to Athens, and we have 1 day in Athens. I know that that sounds like very strange because I feel like Athens is the destination, when people go to Greece, but I'm just not entirely interested in a lot of the things to see in Athens. I think they're like, a friend was telling me that they're redoing the Parthenon or something, which I don't even know like if they're redoing it, can you see it? I don't know. I figured in the last day when we're in Athens for that 1 day, if we really wanted to see the Parthenon, we could. I think that there's a lot of really cool historical stuff to see in Athens, but I think I talked about this with Hawaii too. When I go traveling, I don't want to do necessarily touristy things. I want to experience the country for the culture that locals have. I want a local to tell me what their favorite things to do in Paros or Mykonos or Athens are. Like, I don't want to go on like Travelocity and see like, oh, I could go to the Acropolis. And I have nothing against that if people want to do touristy things. I think that touristy things often make up the economy of a lot of countries that have high tourism. I just am not about that. I think it's because growing up having family abroad, We never did things like that, and when I was 14, I finally went on an organized trip to the Middle East for the very first time, and everyone treated what I perceived to be very fake Middle Eastern experiences like they were this really great exotic thing. I'm gonna go into hard carry, this darker teal, and I'm gonna use a Blend Bunny B1. I just remember when I went to the Middle East when I was 14 on this organized trip, we stayed in what they called a Bedouin tent. If you don't know what a Bedouin, if you weren't aware, I am Middle Eastern. I'm Kurdish. If you don't know what that means, I guess you could go on Wikipedia, but Kurdistan is more of a province and it's made up of multiple countries because it's not recognized as a country, but my family is from Iraq. But regardless of that, Bedouins are essentially, when I think of what people probably perceive Bedouins to be in many cultures, is that they're kind of a nomadic culture. They live in tents in the desert. They, often live off of the land. It's, an experience that tourists think is like really cool. So we went to a Bedouin tent experience, and it was run totally by like white people from South Africa, and it was like they had electricity and they had like a disco club in one of the tents, and they had a buffet for food that was like catered, and it was just not, we rode camels. I mean, it's not like I'd never done that before. And they were like, there you go. That's the real Bedouin experience, you white people. So I was very underwhelmed, and I was like, oh, that was like, I think my first or second night there. And I was like, oh, is this like what people actually do when they're tourists? Like, and again, I'm not saying that every tourist in the Middle East does ridiculous stuff like this, but what I'm saying is if you go on an organized trip to the Middle East, they're probably gonna take you to something like that. I just want an experience that wasn't, I guess I just want an experience that feels a little bit more authentic. I'm gonna use a Blend Bunny B5. I had an idea, but now I'm like, why did I do lighter? And I guess I could deepen this up. Okay, I'm gonna take a Blend Bunny B5, I'm gonna go into Lagrimas, I'm gonna take it further, and then I'm gonna deepen up the outer corner with some other shades. I'm going back into hard carry to deepen up the inner, and then we're gonna go back to the outer corner. I am really just excited for time away from work. I need time away from work right now. I really do. I am grateful that I still have a job in this world we're living in. I feel like high stress all the time. This is the thing. I've been trying to not read the news as much, but I feel like every time I don't read the news, I come into work and someone will be like, did you read about blah, blah, blah that may or may not affect us? And I'm like, the one day I didn't read the news. And the reason I'm not is because this is the thing. When I was in college, I did that too. And I remember people telling me that that was a bad idea and that I was ill-informed and etc. But I was like really mentally struggling in college, and I didn't want to add to that mental strife. I felt this weird pressure to read the news with everything going on, and it's crazy because now some of those headlines don't feel quite as crazy. At the time I was working at a hospital for patients with spinal cord injuries, so there were a lot of things that were like mentally affecting my patient population in that way. That was very upsetting, but there weren't so many like decrees that affected my job. I was talking to my therapist about it, and she was like, the world is not going to blow up if you don't read the news. The world is not going to end if you don't read the news for a day. And I tried it. She told me that on a Thursday. That Saturday, like Friday into Saturday or Saturday into Sunday, I went to the beach some point that weekend. And that night I was like, I'm not going to read the news tonight. I went to bed. I woke up the next morning and the Iran bombing had happened. And I found out because when we were on the beach, my friend said, oh my God, did you see that article? And I went, no, I'm trying not to read the news. And then she was like, I think we're at war. And I was like, went to my therapist, like, you said the world wouldn't end if I didn't read the news. So I'm really trying because knowing that then just gave me this anxiety of like, what next for everyone in the world, you know, but I'm just trying not to dwell on it. I'm just trying to take it one day at a time and survive. To deepen up the outer corner, I'm gonna take Duello Panteon, am I saying that right? Panteon? And maybe a little bit of Noche Eterna. So first I'm going to take Duello on a Blend Bunny B1. I was thinking as I was cleaning my brushes that I should probably just declutter some brushes because I feel like I reach for the same brushes a lot. There are just some brushes that I feel like, I'm like, oh, I should keep that around in case I want it, but then I don't use it. Now I'm going to take a Blend Bunny B3 and I'm going to take Panteon. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Panteon. Then I'm going to take a Sigma E36. This is stained. I just cleaned this and there's nothing on it right now. So it's just the world we live in. I think I'm okay with that. Like, I think that the annoying part of brushes that stain is that from, you know, if I haven't used them in a bit, I stare at them and I'm like, are you clean or are you dirty? I don't know. I know that this one is clean because I know what brushes I used last night. So. And I'm taking Noche Eterna and just blending. I do feel like this eye is blending better than this eye. So I'm gonna take that JH35 again and just try and buff here. Make the blend a little bit more seamless. Today is August 17th. I am very ready for fall. I already built some fall BYOPs. So you will be seeing those gracing my feed soon. But the weather in Philly, which is not typically like this, has been so hot, so rainy this summer, so humid. I just want like one nice, like we had no spring, of course. My favorite weather is like 65, sunny, maybe a very light breeze. That's what I'm looking for. I mean, that's like spring or fall, like early fall. And I'm ready for it, but I'm worried that we're not going to get that. Like last year, I remember handing out candy to trick-or-treaters in shorts. So I don't quite know if we're going to be getting any fall weather this year. I am going to take Glass Cannon. I do think these names are really fun. I feel that Game Beauty has done more collabs recently, am I wrong, than these kind of video game-esque ideas, because they had the Attack on Titan collab, the Persona 5 collab. I think they have a Street Fighter collab right now, which I think Street Fighter makes sense, Persona 5 makes sense. I liked the Attack on Titan collab, but I'm a little confused, like, about that one. It's not a video game. It's a TV show with what an ending. Well, I guess also a manga, but what an ending we were graced with that I was not expecting the direction that it would go. Aren't those the ones? Also, when I think of that in particular, I also think of Vampire Knight, where it's like, what? How did we get here? What is going on? Like, how is this, you know? If you've seen or read either, if you know, you know. All right, so I don't know if I want to do a wing yet. I'm gonna leave it for now. Let's go to the base and then we will come back to it. For primers I've been neglecting, I used to use this a lot, the Thrive Causemetics Blurring Primer. This is just one of those silicone pore filling type of primers, which I feel like I always have at least one of these in rotation, but whether or not they work is, you know, up to that one. I think this one works fine. I thought the Rare Beauty one did not work at all to fill any pores. The Tarte one fills pores, but oh my god, if you don't get it out, you're gonna get acne. My neglected foundation is the Armani Luminous Silk. I talked about this before. I really think that this is a beautiful foundation. It is full coverage, like full coverage foundation. I got this specifically for my wedding for photography. This was recommended by many friends who do makeup for weddings. This was recommended by the people at Sephora for what to wear to my wedding. So I'm shade 4.5. I'm probably a little bit deeper than this right now. I got pretty tan this summer. I've had this for over a year and I do want to work on using it up. It's going to go into my Project Pan rotation for sure, because I'm just not, aside from something like getting professional photos taken, I'm not a full coverage person these days. I'm much more likely to do skin tint or concealer only. The concealer that I've been neglecting is this Natasha Denona concealer. I don't love this. I feel like it's fine. I've had way better concealers. I've had way worse concealers. I think it's fine. I think the main reason that I'm neglecting this and not using it up, it is definitely not the correct shade. I got this before I tanned last spring. This is like, oh, I want to brighten my under eyes when I'm not tan. So this is already like not even like my original skin tone. Like, look at that. This is more like I put it under another concealer, or I mix it with another concealer, or I, you know, put some spots like around to just kind of contour a little bit. For powder that I've been neglecting, I feel like I've been neglecting the Hourglass. I might have used this the other day, but I've been much more likely to reach for my Fenty powder. I think that this just looks much better on the under eyes. I think it's a much more finely milled powder. I might travel with this to Greece though, just because it's smaller. Maybe. I don't know. Let's just go for it. Oh, it's probably like a shade too light, but I've probably put worse on my face. It's fine. I would mix it, but I'm not going anywhere today. I'm just trying to relax, have some dinner with my husband at home. I'm gonna make, as we always like to say here, a big Sunday gravy. That's like the funny joke. If you can't tell by my last name, my husband is Italian. I am gonna probably make some sauce tonight. I'll have a bottle of wine, relax. Tomorrow I actually don't have work. I have jury duty. So that'll be fun. I've been called for jury duty like 4 times. One of the times it was COVID, so the courts were like closed, so I didn't even go in. But all the other times I've been called, they never even called me into the room. Like, I just waited the entire day, and then they were like, yep, we found all our jurors, bye. Like, dude, call me into the room at least. Like, I don't know if I'd mind being on a jury, but for this scenario, I'm gonna have to be like, if they did call me in, I'm not gonna be in the country. So I don't know if, like, unless your trial's like a day long, I don't think you can pick me. Oh, that is so late. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe I should just pass this along to a paler friend. I feel like things with a wand like that, where you put them back in, it's harder to justify giving that to somebody, and it has been near my eyes, you know? I don't know if that's the primer or this concealer, which I haven't really been using much, but I definitely see it settling into my fine lines. And I'm not saying like, oh my god, that can't happen, and I don't want people to know I have lines. Like, I'm a realistic person. Oh my god, I just looked at myself in the viewfinder and I look like a ghost. Okay, we're gonna need to fix this. But I just feel that it's creasing too much for my liking and looks pretty dry. Here, let's see if I can get you to... Like, you could see right there. Yeah, I just don't think that that looks great. Maybe I'll offer it to a friend. It smells fine, but I don't know how much longer it's gonna last. I got this like when it launched, what was that, last March or April? Something like that. For powder, I'm gonna use this ColourPop F3. What is the deal with ColourPop these days? When I asked on Instagram what you all were interested in seeing, someone put that they were interested in my thoughts on the current state of ColourPop. I don't know what the current state of ColourPop is. I haven't purchased anything from ColourPop since the J.K. Rowling fiasco. I just, you know, for me it's obvious that it, like, that was a cash grab, right? Harry Potter, anything these days is a cash grab. Like, regardless if J.K. Rowling was not a terrible human, Harry Potter, anything is a cash grab. Like, we all need to realize that as millennials who enjoyed Harry Potter. I feel that ColourPop also fell into this trap, which I think Glamlight is falling into a bit too, where everything is now like an IP collab. Like, nothing is just an idea that they came up with. Everything is like based off a movie, based off a show. And ColourPop in particular, you could tell it was really trying to target millennials because, you know, I was looking more recently, they've done Sailor Moon, Naruto, They've done Twilight, like all the Twilight movies, Harry Potter. Like these are all things that I feel are very like millennial pop culture focused. And prior to that, they did a lot of those Disney collabs, which I think like that made a little bit of sense because they probably already paid Disney for general licensing and they just kind of kept stacking what they could do all the way through Star Wars at that point. But I just feel that ColourPop has no originality left. That's what I feel the current state of ColourPop is. I mean, I don't know if that's what they're still doing, but the most recent thing that I think I saw was like a Twilight palette. So that is what I feel. There are ColourPop products that I really did enjoy, but unfortunately, in a capitalist society, I vote with my dollar personally, and ColourPop's not getting my money.
Like a warm chocolate chip cookie.
Did you just make chocolate chip cookies?
Yes.
My husband just baked chocolate chip cookies. Okay, cookie break over. Let's bronze ourselves, please. Look at me, I'm a ghost. For bronzer, I don't necessarily know if I have one that I've neglected. I try to cycle pretty well because I have one cream bronzer, which is the Danessa Myricks Contour Balm, which the name is so misleading. It's a bronzer, not a contour. I have 3 powder bronzers. So I have this one. This is from the Neon MUA Noon palette with Midas. I have the Marc Jacobs, and then I have one in an Hourglass palette. And then contour-wise, I have the contour stick from Ulak that they gifted me, and then this contour from Midas. Now, the other thing, though, that I considered as I opened this, these 3 are from Salt New York. And this one in particular, I believe this is called Toasted Coconut, does make a really nice bronzer for me, and I feel that I've not used it in a while. Of these 3, I dip into cocoa the most. Let's use Toasted Coconut as a bronzer and then see where we're at. I'm gonna use this e.l.f. foundation brush. I don't know if e.l.f. makes this anymore. I don't know what e.l.f. makes or what e.l.f. does, except for if you're watching this in the future, last week was the Matt Rife situation. I don't know what they were thinking. So now I'm at a place where I don't know if I want to continue to purchase from e.l.f. until I see a difference or a real apology. I feel the apology wasn't very sincere. And I could say that I am one to whether accept or, oh wow, what did I just do? But I could say that I am one that can accept or not accept that apology because I feel that they've offended all their consumers by working with Matt Rife. I feel like that's like a we'll fix it in post situation. Oh my god. Am I using old makeup or am I just like catastrophizing my face? I feel like I say this every video, but if you expected something other than utter chaos, I don't know whose channel you thought you clicked on. Salt New York does make such beautiful products, but when I purchased all these, they didn't make the compacts yet, which is why they are where they are, and I feel that I reach for them less because of that, so I should probably get the compacts. Do I look any less terrifying? In the viewfinder, no. In real life, I'm not sure. For blush, I have 2 options. Oh, I just stuck my finger in that Salt New York shade. Welcome, other chaos gremlins, to my chaos. So we have 2 options here. The first is this Alamar blush. I believe this is from the Encanto collection. It's called Hermosa Rosa. I think that Alamar makes a few things that are really great. 1, blushes, and 2, I love their lip glosses. I think most of the general public will not because they are sticky and thick, but they are pigmented and they stay, which is why I enjoy them. So personally, I enjoy an Alamar gloss. A lot of people do not enjoy an Alamar gloss. But I feel that I haven't reached for this a lot because I am often not wearing things like this hot and bright to work. And when I do a lot of looks for Instagram lately, I feel I've been doing a lot more grungy, kind of deeper things, and this is very bright. The other is my Lunar Beauty Moon Prism blush prism, what is this called? Moon Prism blush palette. This is like their first blush palette. I think this is the oldest blush palette in my collection. This is really pretty. I just, again, don't really reach for blush palettes. In fact, I just put my Likely makeup palettes up on my Mercari. I don't reach for them. I just don't. Aside from the fact that there are some pretty crazy colors in there that I'm just not gravitating to, I just don't reach for blush palettes lately because I keep just going for the single blushes. But a blush palette in particular is really good for travel, which is why I just got the Blend Bunny Masterclass, and I'm gonna bring this with me to Greece. But I feel that this has been very neglected. There are some shades in here that I really used to use a lot. There's some in here, like this one, Pink Moon, does not show up on me. It is just too light of a color. It's very dusty. That is like definitely for a paler person than me. Like even if I panned this entire palette, that one's not getting it. I used to use Twilight and Soleil a lot. Stargaze is a pretty good pink for me, but when I reach for a color like this, I've been using the Tarte Fairy Flush blush because I'm actually almost done that blush. Like I'm trying to finish it. It'll be in a Project Pan video that I'm going to film today that you will see next on this channel. So before I reach for this, I wanted to finish that one up first. Gravity is, it looks very brown in the pan, but it's quite rosy of a brown. So again, when I'm looking for a more neutral brown, I'll go for Lynx from Melt, or I'll go for Terracotta from Persona. And then Spacey is just not a shade that I gravitate towards. It's kind of like a murky berry. Let's go with Stargaze. I don't know what this brush is. I must have gotten it in like a BoxyCharm or something many years ago, but there's no name on it. Brow products, there's nothing I've been neglecting because I only have the brow products that I have. So I'm gonna do my brows really quick and then we will finish up the eyes. All right, let's go back to our eyes. I think for the under eye, I'm gonna go with Hard Carry on the outer corner, and then I'm probably gonna do Loot on the inner corner, but maybe I'll do like a pop of something, either gold or maybe, to use a shimmer that I don't normally use, Katrina. Let's maybe do Katrina in the outer corner because that's the darkest. This is a JH39. Oh yeah, that is a dark color. Now I'm gonna go in with Hard Carry. Oh my god, my under eyes are so crepey right now. I just have to. Do you see that? I think we could all tell why I have not been using that Natasha Denona concealer. I don't think I can justify keeping that. I think I'm just gonna have to pass that on or throw it away. That is quite horrid looking. I also look like a raccoon right now. Someone at Natasha Denona Corporate is like, this girl thinks that our concealer looks bad. Look at her face right now. Look how pale she is. Look at her raccooniness. A category in general that I feel I neglect is eye pencils. I have so many of these. I honestly should probably go through, like, I don't know what the deal, like these ColourPop ones. I decluttered a few last year before I moved, and some of them were like dry, like completely dried out, so I wouldn't be surprised if these are now. Okay, we've got a few options. Let's see if any of them are dried out. Okay, so this is the Faux Blacks from NYX. This is Black Olive, which would be kind of like that greeny look. This one seems fine. This is, oh. Did you see that? That's concerning. This is also NYX. This is Azure. This is Silver Lining from NYX. Oh, this one is like definitely the newest one, or in the best shape. That was very smooth. Okay, and this is the Test of Truth. Is this DTLA? Yeah, this is DTLA from ColourPop. This was a favorite. There's probably, yeah, there's so much of that left, but I bet it's dry. Oh yeah. That's the best we could get. So, trash for you. Trash for you. Put that in the trash can. Yeah, that was, I should probably just get rid of all the ColourPop ones. If one of them is like that, then they're all like that. Let's just do a little mini declutter here. Yeah, okay. Goodbye, what is left of the ColourPop liners. Okay, back to what we're doing here. So I'm not thinking the silver because that shimmer I popped on the inner corner is a little gold. I'm honestly kind of thinking Black Olive because of that under eye that's really dark. So let's go with that. And then I'll also tightline with this. Full circle, when I was last night at the Linkin Park concert, I was talking about what I used to dress like when I, you know, was emo. Millennials, if you know, you know. And it was when I first started doing makeup, I would just take a black stick eyeliner and all around my eye. And nothing else. No mascara. No mascara. Just the black eyeliner. No lip gloss. No blush. Highlighter like wasn't a thing yet. I don't know why my mom let me go to 8th grade like that. Probably like letting me express myself or some parental thing, but wow. Setting spray, I don't have any that I've been neglecting. Another area that I've been hardcore neglecting is lashes. I just bought a new lash glue. I went to go put on lashes the other day for the first time in forever, and my lash glue was completely dried up. I have a lot of pairs of lashes, but I went for ones in particular that have already been open used and maybe a little abused. So the first ones we have, these are Melissa. These are from Shop Miss A. These are fine. Like, their lashes are fine. They're very cheap. I think they're like $3, and they do, you know, do the trick, but the band on them is so thick, and I'm not gonna lie, it itches and sometimes hurts. I have these Glamnetic ones, but I don't have any of the Glamnetic glue, so I would just glue them onto my eyes at this point. Also, I feel that the Glamnetic glue never really worked particularly well for me, so I'm just gonna glue these on my eyes in any scenario. These are in the Lunar Beauty box for Stella, but I don't know if these are the Lunar Beauty lashes in Stella. These might be like some other lash. Anyway, I'm not sure what those are. And then I have a few of these Auric ones. I think there's 2, and I kept both of them. Just pulled one out at random. These are the Clouded. I don't know if I wore these at my wedding or the other ones, which are like Monarch or Flutter or something. These look like I wore them with something blue. I don't know if you could see that. There's like some blue eyeshadow on the edges. It looks like Quicksand Cosmetics Pharaoh's Crown, like that fluorescent blue. So if I had to guess, that's what I was wearing the last time I wore these. Let's go with the Glamnetic ones maybe. Let's see how I could glue these on my eye. Let's see if this is a test here, because I have a few pairs of Glamnetic lashes and I'm over the gimmick, but at the same time, the lashes still work. Oh right, they're magnetic. They're gonna stick to the tweezers. That was so hard to... I can't remember the last time I put on lashes without the help of tweezers. How did I put these on when I had the correct glue? Have I ever owned plastic tweezers? What is going on? Okay, well, I think that one's on. Okay, those are as on there as I believe they're gonna be. Try and blend them a little with mascara and just probably move on. So if you were wondering if you could put on Glamnetic lashes with like regular glue, the answer is yes, you can, but it's infuriating and probably not worth it. I feel they're not blending particularly well, but I guess that's part of the illusion that when you put on Glamnetic, there is the liner, so it just fills that negative space regardless. But can't say to myself that I haven't used them. For a highlighter I've been neglecting, I pulled this from Odin's Eye. It's called Warm Sunshine. It is like a white to kind of golden orange duochrome. I would compare this to Kaleido Solar Sailor, but like more orange than yellow. So it's nice. I just don't wear orange a ton, so it's not a color that I gravitate to. I had another one from this collection that I decluttered because it looked so much like Moon Cruiser. I just like don't know why I even got it in the first place. This is a Sigma FO3. You could tell it's been neglected because the embossing is all still there. In fact, I may have decluttered the palette from this collection before we even moved. And again, it was fine, it was a rainbow palette. Longtimers know that I used to collect Odin's Eye palettes, but I'm now down to 3, and honestly, they almost made the list of palettes I've been neglecting. Like, I just haven't been reaching for them. This highlighter might have some hard pan. As for lips I've been neglecting, I pulled a few different things. I feel like I'm just very often lately, I've been keeping a gloss at my desk for when I work, and I've been trying to use up, if you remember, I got from Influencer, that Charlotte Tilbury gloss that I hate. Been trying to use it up so that's at my desk. I formerly had my Makeup by Mario there that I recently finished, and I, in each of my purses, have one of those like Tarte lip clicky maracuja things. So I feel that I've just been reaching for those much more often because they're always in front of my face and they're all generally clear or sheer, but so I pulled a few things that have color because I wasn't sure what we would do with blush. So this is Melt, I think it's Gwendolyn. Yeah, it's like a peach, which is not really the scenario that we went to. This is one of the Alamar glosses. I'm much more likely to reach for Coquetta, which is the brown one, but this is in Mommy Spice, and I figured if we used that Alamar blush, this was a pretty close color, but that's a no. These two are from Romand. I don't know if I bought these or these were sent to me in PR by Yes Style. I'm very sorry, but I do have a code with Yes Style. It is YellBell10. I'll put it on the screen. If you use it, it is affiliated. Thank you, I appreciate it. Not required to do so. This one's breaking, but these I think look pretty similar to me. Like when I pulled them out, I was like, oh. I mean, actually in the viewfinder, they look quite different. Like this one looks pink and this one looks peach, but I promise you in real life these are like the same color in different fonts or something. I don't know. One of the other ones, this is from Ulok. This I'm positive was gifted to me. They had sent me this line of these shiny like early 2000s lipsticks and I couldn't. They sent me like all of them and I gave them to Jen, Dreaming in Multichrome. She likes like a frosted lip and some of them were like real frosted, so I sent them to her without even like using them, but I kept two, and this is one of the two, and every time I pull them out, I'm like, why? I think my intention was that I would maybe use these as like a blush, because they are so shiny. Like, I don't know if that's really capturing all of it. Hold on. There's just, there we go. There's just so much frost in it. I just don't know if that's for me. I kept this one and like a brighter pink, and that's why I think I was like intending to use them as blushes, but I think it's probably going to be time to just let them go. And the last one I pulled is this Pat McGrath tinted lip balm in Naked Rose. I do actually quite like this as a lip balm, but it is like quite tinted. So the problem with this is like if I'm just like looking for a lip balm like before bed, you know, hanging out, whatever, like, or I'm wearing any makeup that doesn't match this, I'm like not gonna reach for it. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna put the Romand on and then I'll put this on top to just kind of like moisturize because the Romand is like very dry. I did not pull a lip liner for this, so hold please. I think this is the closest I've got. It's ColourPop Oh Sis. I see these lashes lifting. I think the magnets are just too heavy for the glue. This is the Romand. The name on here is not in English, I'm sorry, but it's shade 8. Oh my god, my lips look so dry. This, I will say, I don't mind these, but they are, like, if your lips are dry, they accentuate every fine line on them. So, like, if your lips are doing fine that day, great. But, like, right now, these are looking... Wow. Okay, let's take a lip brush and... put some of the Pat McGrath on top to fix it. And there we go, a full face of makeup that I have been neglecting. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me here today. We even did a little declutter along the way. Let me know down below, do you want to see more Shop My Stash makeup I've been neglecting videos? What is something in your makeup collection that you have been neglecting? Are you going to reach for it more often, or is this your call to let it go? I hope you all have a great day or night wherever you are. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay weird. Bye!